Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. This is episode 4 of this series I'm calling WEDDED BLITZ. The title of this episode is Camping Seemed Like a Good Idea. I try to be a good dad, especially after the divorce. So one weekend when I had my son, I decided to take him camping. He had never been. I figured I would do a trip that practically ensured we'd have a great time and a wonderful memory. It didn't quite work out that way. I made sure the weather would be good. It said only 10% chance of rain, and even if it rained, it would only be a 1/100th of an inch, barely misting. I sure didn't want to postpone the trip and disappoint Kyle over a 10% chance of a 100th of an inch. I went to REI and rented it all. Foldable tent, sleeping bags, sleeping pads, one-burner Coleman stove, binoculars for birding, the works. $667, and I thought camping was supposed to be cheap. I picked Kyle up Saturday at 10 a.m. I knew his biological clock wouldn't be as happy with earlier. My wife pasted on her smiley face and wished us a good time. Kyle jumped in the car eager. I'm vegan and wanted to expose Kyle to veganism, so I got a whole buffet of stuff to bring on the 4-hour drive. Avocado toast, hummus and carrot sticks, quinoa and kale salad, and dates, walnuts, and bananas for dessert. Unfortunately, Kyle had other ideas. Dad, Mom never lets me have McDonald's. For once, can I? How could I say no? He had his Big Mac. All I could eat there were fries and salad. No dressing. Obviously no blue cheese dressing. Ranch dressing has buttermilk. Thousand Island has mayo. What about the vinaigrette? Egg. Back on the road, I followed the GPS, but a couple turns seemed ambiguous. Kyle sensed I was getting nervous. Are we close, Dad? Finally, we arrived at my carefully selected spot. Views, hiking, remote, 4.7 average reviews from campers and backpackers. But to get the best views, we had to park and then walk in a couple hundred yards, and we did, uneventfully. The REI guy said that setting up the tent was easy. He even showed me, but there's a grand canyon of difference between him doing it and city slicker me. I tried to keep that old positive attitude and praising Kyle for his help, even though he fumbled more even than I did. I didn't succeed in masking my frustration. After a half hour of this, Kyle said, "Chill, Dad, it's only a tent." We had a little daylight left, so we hiked around but stayed close because we didn't want to get lost. We had that beautiful rim view, but after a while he found that boring, so I tried to keep things interesting by pointing out the names of plants I knew, like manzanita. But he said, "Why should I care?" I didn't have a good answer. I figured I'd better pull out the big gun, my binoculars. I was guessing we'd see some cool birds up here. I saw some big bird in a nest, and excited, I gave Kyle the binoculars. "Where? I can't see." I tried to show him, and he still couldn't find it. Finally he did, and he shrugged. On the way back to our tent, we saw a clump of mushrooms. "Can I eat one, or is it going to kill me?" I pulled out my cell phone to Google it, whereupon I was reminded no cell service up here. Back at the tent, Kyle exclaimed, "Ready to make a campfire?" I had rented a Coleman stove but didn't want to disappoint him, so we tried. Gathered kindling and wood, but it was just a little damp and so it wouldn't light. I tried to put my best face on it. "Hey, I've got these great freeze-dried dinners we can make on the Coleman. Beef stew for you, butternut dal bhat for me." He could barely eat it, but I salvaged the dinner by saying, "I did bring marshmallows. Did you know that the very best campfire marshmallows are made on a Coleman stove?" Fortunately, he laughed. We went to sleep, and even though we had put the sleeping pads in the least rocky spot, after just a couple minutes, both of us were starting to hurt. Even small rocks can go through the pad. I'm sure we both wished we were sleeping in our beds at home. Fortunately, it wasn't too cold, and so in our sleeping bags we were okay, until the middle of the night when Kyle woke me, complaining that he had been bitten by a mosquito when we were hiking, and now it was itching like crazy. Damn, I hadn't thought of bringing calamine. No more than an hour later, Kyle woke me again. What are those noises? I had read that up here there can be wolves, coyotes, even the occasional bear. I got out of the tent to look but could see nothing. It was cold out there, so I was grateful to get back in, rocky sleeping pad or not. When we got up in the morning, we were socked in total fog. Is that what they meant by a 1/100th of an inch? Hoping it would clear, we had our breakfast. He actually liked his banana oatmeal. We packed up slowly, hoping the fog would clear by the time we were ready to head back to the car. But it remained dense fog, even with my flashlight on. Ever trying to stay upbeat and not further spoil that great father-son memory I had been aiming for, I said, "We're just a couple hundred yards away. We'll find it." We headed toward what I could swear was the right place, but no car. "Dad, I'm scared." "Kyle, we'll find it." We did. An hour of fear later. We drove the 4-hour drive pretty much silent except for the radio. I let him pick the music. Ugh. And there was traffic. The 4-hour drive took 6. When we returned to his mother's house, she chirped, "So, how was the father-son adventure?" First thing that came out of my mouth was, "Next time I hear there's a camping video game." Anyway, that episode 4 is called Camping Seemed Like a Good Idea. Episode 4 in WEDDED BLITZ. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. I certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 30 books. Perhaps the most relevant to this would be maybe relationship stories, or the book Light, or the book Dark. All short stories. In any event, all 30 are on Amazon. Just go there, search on my name, Marty Nemko, Nemko, and you will find more than you can stomach. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.